It's funny to me as cars get newer and the technology gets newer, I think they're actually going to get worse.
Told me don't get a Kia. Told me don't get a Kia. What did I do? I got a Kia.
Here's the 5 subscriptions that the 2025 Toyota Camry has, because y'all want to know, and when I bought it exactly 1 year ago, I was shook too, and my free trials just expired.
Your car, it's probably spying on you. Every time you start your car, plug in your seatbelt, stop suddenly, accelerate. There's a good chance your car is recording it, packaging it, and sending it off. They're selling it, and according to them, you gave them permission.
With the advancements in technology in recent years, we can only assume that modern cars are getting better, safer, and smarter, right? Of course not. I feel like modern cars are the definition of over-engineering something and creating problems that never needed fixing in the first place. Today, we're going to be looking at some of the most useless features in today's modern vehicles, some that are downright dangerous. We're also going to be talking about the rise in subscription services for your vehicle and how your car is probably secretly spying on you. Let's start off with some useless features such as auto start stop. If you've been driving next to a car and you hear it shut off at a red light, this is what it's doing.
Auto start stop system. It drives me crazy. It's like 10 more additional parts on your car that tend to go out. They are all crazy expensive. The idea, right, is to save the environment and be able to put less wear and tear on the engine, but really all you're doing is you're starting your car like 20 more times a day, so it wears things out a little bit faster. And then if you have a Jeep, and if you're a Jeep owner and you've got the start-stop system, you will notice that you have to have like 10 different functions work correctly, and if one of the batteries go bad, then a whole bunch of things. That is the most useless thing here. Cars did not need it before. They still don't need it. I'm not a fan.
We can look at the comments first. Auto start and stop, lane keep assist, moisture sensitive wipers, adaptive cruise control, displacement on demand, engine management, all of it can go. I hate that feature and we can't turn it off permanently. That's another thing. If you have this feature on your car, apparently you can't disable it forever. You have to turn it off every single time you start your car. That has got to be maddening. Every vehicle in 2025 should have a good dash cam. Every vehicle. I really can't wrap my mind around the fact that modern cars have all of these other useless features, like the fact that they have a handleless glove box or no door handle. You just have to push a tiny little button somewhere to open the door. Yet dash cams, which are so beneficial because they document what actually happened and who's at fault in an accident, are not required. Make it make sense. My battery died at a red light because of this. I turn mine off as soon as I start it, every single time. I hate it. So we all agree, we all hate the auto start system. Good. Another thing about modern cars that is so frustrating is most of them don't have physical door handles anymore. I remember the first time I got into a Tesla Uber, I had no idea how to open the door. Something that did not need fixing, something that was so basic, something that worked perfectly well, and the engineers were like, let's change that. Great idea.
It's funny to me as cars get newer and the technology gets newer, I think they're actually going to get worse. This Mach-E does not have a door handle. This is a door handle, right? You pull on it, the door opens. This has a push button. Door opens. I have one problem with that. It snowed a little bit last night. Probably 1 or 2 inches. So my avalanche is here outside, right? So the Mach-E would have a push button somewhere around here. You're going to have to find the push button, right? Instead of just pulling the door open, right? Wow, that actually worked. So the push button would be somewhere around there. I guess if you own an EV, you should just park it in a garage. If you don't have a garage, don't own an EV. Because this is a push. That latch has to disengage. So what happens when it's iced over? You're not going to be able to just pull the door open, right? It's not going to be a simple process like that. This is a grab handle. So this is only going to work after the door has unlatched. If that mechanism gets frozen in there, you can't tug it open. There's no mechanical release to open that hint. Like, this is not going to get mechanically released from the outside like this is, right? You pull this unlatch button. This button is undoing that latch in there. Just wild to me.
And this poses another problem when your car battery dies. So this next clip I've actually shown on the channel before, so apologies, it is a repeat, but I think it just goes to show how backwards these modern cars designs are.
How simple they are. Instead of having a simple key like this, you just insert in the door somewhere. You know, key's never going to not work, right? You know, sometimes you unlock your lock button, that might not work, but at least you're going to get in with the key. But what happens when you need to get in the car? And let's just say the battery's dead, right? So where do you insert Oh, actually, that's funny. It's a blank. I forgot about that. So yeah, where do you insert the would-be key, right? Don't worry, Ford is 4 steps ahead of you with this. So you just take this little panel off, and of course your car's locked out. So grab that jump box that you would have in your car, because you know you locked it, right? And you're gonna jump start it, jump this literally with the jump pack, and then that will open the front, which then lets you jump the battery. That then lets you power the door to press the button to get back in your car, because a key just would have been way too difficult.
I just have no words for how stupid of a design that is and how it just makes 0 sense for the consumer.
This is why I hate new cars. I go to reverse. Warning, 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 shift to park because there's a pole in front of me because they parked as close to the pole as possible. Look what it does when I go to put it in reverse. It automatically parks itself. Reverse. Let off the park. It parks itself. How I can't move the car because it's parking itself because of a light pole. Because of a sensor. This is stupid.
The top comment says, "You're in reverse. Why does it care what's in front of you?" New cars think they're smarter than the driver. They are so safe to the point that it's unsafe because you no longer have complete control of the vehicle. My wife's car occasionally slams into park while reversing because it detects the driveway. They need it for safety, but can also have a giant touchscreen in the car that requires you to navigate 3 menus to turn down the volume while driving. And then people were trying to help troubleshoot the problem, just turn off the parking sensors. It's not because of the pole, it's because your seatbelt isn't on, or it's because the door is open. So in order to drive your car, you have to hop 3 times on your right leg, rub your belly, pat your head, do a backflip, do the exact sequence of events your car wants in order for you to get where you need to go. It is just so backwards and makes 0 sense. You can't make this stuff up. This is how modern cars are now. Another feature that I think is not doing much and can be downright dangerous is lane assist.
If you don't know what lane assist is, it's basically a modern vehicle feature that prevents your car from going into like the next lane on accident. So if you don't put on your blinker and you try to go into like your right or left lane, it'll like pull the car back, like it'll move the steering wheel. If you don't see how that's really dangerous, there was an example where I was driving my mom's car, which has lane assist, and somebody was coming into my lane from the left. And I was like, what are you doing? And I had to swerve because I had to react quickly, but the car jerked back because I was like going into the right lane without putting my blinker on. Like I didn't have time to put my blinker on, and it just kind of moved the car back. So I had to like full turn it, bro. I definitely think they need to slow down with the modern car features because there's definitely a lot that could go wrong with them.
If you drive as much as we do in the US, this has probably happened to you. You've probably had some close call accidents, and something very similar happened to me one time. I was driving down a 1-lane highway and I saw a car approaching out of a neighborhood, and we were about to meet at a crossroads. It wasn't an intersection with stoplights, but they had a stop sign and I didn't. This person clearly doesn't see me, and their plan is to cross right in front of me and into the lane going the other direction that I was traveling. I had to make a split-second decision, and luckily there was no oncoming traffic in the other lane traveling this way, and so I swerved and was able to avoid that car by like 2 feet. If my car had lane assist and decided to jerk my wheel in that moment, because I also didn't have time to turn on my blinker, that would be so terrifying and could cause an accident. And some other commenters agree. I was driving my mother's 2022 or 2023, I'm not sure of the exact year, but it's pretty much a brand new Honda Accord, 6-speed manual. I was trying to move into the next lane and the car was genuinely fighting me. Honestly scary. I don't like driving our car because the car was jerking itself in the opposite direction. I'm a firm believer that at this point, the more computer smart stuff your car or home has, the worse off it is. Can't text and drive, but modern cars have a full iPad on the dashboard. Some commenters are saying that you can easily overpower it and you need to be using your blinker, but when you are about to crash into another vehicle, you don't have time to put on your blinker or think about overriding lane assist. Your fight or flight and your instincts and your reaction time really just saves you in that situation, and something like lane assist and overriding it and trying to put your blinker on is just going to endanger you more, and it's something that you don't have time to think about in that moment. Something else I was pretty horrified to find out is modern cars nowadays will just completely invade your privacy. Here I was thinking I had at least a smidge of privacy in my car, but even that is not true, and now I'm never going to feel like I can relax in my car again.
Something that should be illegal on cars is the spyware that comes on these brand new vehicles' rear view cameras, rear view mirrors, whatever. Tell me why I'm sitting at a red light last night, stopped in traffic. I'm singing my tunes. I'm in my little press car. I'm enjoying it. I've got Apple CarPlay running. I take a little glance forward, okay, through a very clear rear windshield, rear window of the car in front of me. What do I see in there? I could literally see all the way to the front to a zoomed in live stream of me sitting back in my car like this. I'm sorry, when did I sign up for the fucking reality show that is you being able to watch me that closely? Like, I'm sorry, am I the spectacle to your night? If you haven't seen it, these new cameras, they don't have the same vision as this. Like, obviously it's a video, so it's crystal clear, but also look at how far away that view is. Ones that are video cameras, they're zoomed in like 3 times. I don't think anyone should be able to see me that closely. If I am a full car length, 2 cars, almost 2 car and a half length behind you, you should not be able to see if I have a pimple on my face. I could see me so clearly sitting there in the car. Excuse me? Every time I get a car that has that, I make sure it's turned off because it makes me uncomfortable. Like, it fucks with my field of vision because it is so zoomed in that I'm like, I actually can't tell the distance people are behind me. Maybe you adapt after time.
Someone showed their Cadillac Lyrics rearview mirror, and she isn't lying. It's practically like you're in the car behind you. So if you're confused, this is what she's talking about. Yeah, now you're creeping on people behind you. Not okay. That's creepy being able to see someone so close. So this has been out for years. And then going back to the original clip with the girl, someone commented, yet no doorbell camera can ever get car plates on people that steal. Also, why would they need that? It's a distraction. Wait till you find out new cars record your driving habits, hard braking, collision warnings, etc., and then sell that info to insurance companies.
It was more of like a horror story. My name's Mike Tarana, and I drive a 2023 Chevy Bolt EUV.
Last year, Mike read an article about GM spying on drivers through OnStar. His car had OnStar.
I clicked on some of the links in that article and requested my data. The first page is like a big tally of like the common things. Driving at night, harsh stops, sudden accelerations. Around 5:30 every single day was the same, near miss collision, small object. When I pull into my driveway and my cats, run into the carport because they're so excited that they're going to be fed, this is the data point. Me having a small near miss collision every day is my cat running in front of my car and me stopping.
Mike's data, even though it was inaccurate, eventually came back to haunt him.
The automotive industry's general approach to privacy could be summed up in one word: permissive, but not in the way that benefits people. They're collecting things like personal data, biometric data, social data, and not letting anybody really understand how it's being used or who it might be sold on to.
First, GM packaged Mike's every move and analyzed it internally. Some of this was legitimate, recalls and maintenance analysis. Then they sold it to data brokers, companies that exist to buy and sell your personal data. Mike's data didn't just train some opaque system. LexisNexis and Verisk transformed it into something much more concrete, a risk score that can follow him everywhere.
And this kind of behavioral telemetry gives insurers granular insight to risk assessment, often more than what's inferred from a claims history.
Hard brakes, small object near miss, quick accelerations. That makes the score worse, and it gets sold to insurance companies, with General Motors getting a cut. Since 2019, car insurance rates are up over 40%. There's a lot of plausible reasons. Rising vehicle prices, overall inflation, the general economy. But there's a growing chorus of people who think this data is having an impact.
For me, having this concrete data point that GM and OnStar gave this information to my insurance company, and I can easily see how from reading that LexisNexis report, it can be used to justify raising my rates. My rates did increase.
This happened to countless GM customers.
Her insurance had gone up 80%, and when she tried to shop around, an insurance broker suggested she check her LexisNexis records to see why.
Car manufacturers aren't denying it. They say everything they're doing is outlined in the privacy policy.
People don't read them, they don't understand them, and so the idea that that equals affirmative, expressed, freely given consent is patently false.
The more I learn, the more violated I feel, and I think that the only solution here really is to buy used cars. But what scares me is at some point, the new cars of today will be the used cars of tomorrow. So these features will be in there. This is all becoming normalized, and it's not going away anytime soon. It's pretty terrifying. Modern cars now have privacy policies similar to modern phones. And I feel like we all know that our phones spy on us. I think people make that joke all the time, like, it's listening to me, I'm getting targeted ads. But the problem with this is that they are literally using our own private information against us to take more money out of our wallets and put it into theirs through an insurance risk score based on your driving habits. Absolutely terrible. This is why I refuse State Farm's Safe Driver discount. It's a tracker in your car. Keep the old cars running. They don't tell on you. As a prior insurance adjuster and SIU investigator, it absolutely is having an impact on your rates. So many people tried to sell me on that good driver discount, and I was like, you are not going to track my every second in my car just so I can hope for a discount? Heck no. Wow, I'm so unsurprised. We also need to talk about the button you push that closes your trunk. I really don't understand the purpose of that. What was wrong with just closing our trunk by hand manually? The only thing I think it could be helpful for is those that are disabled or elderly folks who have mobility issues, but I would say that's probably the only scenario in which it makes sense. Otherwise, it's just another thing that's going to break. Or in the case of this Subaru, it could actually try to hurt you. Geez, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. It's haunted. So long to those safety ratings. I'm a big proponent of buying used cars. You've typically let the first owner take the depreciation hit. It can save you a lot of money over time. Insurance is cheaper, taxes are cheaper, and they just don't build cars like they used to. The older cars are much more reliable than any modern car that comes out today. But a lot of people are hesitant to buy used cars because they don't know the vehicle's history, they don't know how well previous owners took care of it. New cars often come with warranties and other things. So I do get the appeal and the draw of buying new cars. However, just because the car is new doesn't mean you're not going to have any problems. This one says, I got a brand new 2026 Kia Sportage 3 months ago and it's been to the repair shop 3 times already. 4 days later, it stopped while driving on a busy major road and I had to call the police to help move my vehicle while I wait for Kia to send a tow truck that took 3 hours to show up. Then for me to get my car 10 days later, then less than 2 months later, it happens again. This time I'm in the car with my son, plus it's driving and accelerating on its own.
It's doing that jerking. I'm at the gas, see? I'm not even pressing gas. Yeah, no. Oh my God, what is going on? I'm almost home, God, please. You see? It's parked. I'm in park. Look. This is what my car is doing. Yeah, I have to take it. This is ridiculous.
Then bring it back to the shop. I get it back after 9 days just for 6 hours. After picking it up, it does the same thing again.
It's doing the jerking and it's driving by itself again. This is the day me picking it up. They said they test drove it and it's back doing the same thing. I need a whole new car at this point.
And I've just been seeing countless and countless videos of people buying Kias and regretting it.
Told me don't get a Kia. Told me don't get a Kia. What did I do? I got a Kia. I got the 2024 Kia Telluride. This thing's not cheap, but I like the way that it looked. We have some friends who have it. They love it. I said, screw the negative public opinion. I'm just going to go for it. I've had the car maybe 2 months. Month 1, the passenger door handle falls off. Sorry, it doesn't fall off. It was hanging by a wire. I chalked it up as a random defect. They fixed it quickly, no problem. A week later, I'm driving and suddenly my entire dash lights up. My speedometer stops working. So no matter how fast I'm going, it says 0. The lights on my shift don't work, so I don't know if I'm in park or in drive. It also doesn't change on the dash. Lose power steering, so the car becomes very heavy. And then it'll fix itself, sometimes after 5 minutes, sometimes after 2 hours. Obviously, it's only 2 months old. Everything's under warranty, so I make an appointment to have it fixed. I had to postpone it. It was supposed to be last week. I had to postpone it. I was going to call back today. But this morning, I had to drive to a prenatal appointment because not only do I have a toddler that I have to get places, but I'm also 7 months pregnant. And I'm just minding my business in my new car. What happens at the stop sign? My car just stops. It's still on, but again, the dash lights up, and now my car is locked in drive, but it's actually in park, so I can't go anywhere, and the stick shift is locked. So it's rush hour, it's in the morning, I have to put my hazards on, I have to open my window, and I just have to tell people, go. There's school buses. I have to cancel my prenatal appointment. $140 for a tow to the dealership that's 5 minutes away. Oh, and I forgot the best part. When I was getting this car, everyone's telling me, be careful, the driver's seats are catching on fire. 400,000 Tellurides were being recalled because the seats were catching on fire. So they were telling people, don't park it in your house because then it can catch your house on fire. So as I'm getting this car, I tell them, my car's not part of the recall, right? I'm not going to have to bring it in. No, ma'am. No, we're not allowed. We're legally not allowed to give you a car that is part of the recall. What do I get in the mail a month after I got the car? Your car is part of a recall for seats catching on fire. So please bring it in so that we can fix it and you hopefully won't die. So I need to know from car people, car enthusiasts, maybe car salesmen, what are my options here? Because sure, I brought it in, it's under warranty. They say they're going to fix it. They're going to run a whole diagnostics test. They're going to fix it. I don't want a car that you sold me that was broken. It was a lemon that you are now fixing. I want a car that is perfect and brand new from the moment you give it to me. I don't want your good as new car. I want a different car. So I guess that's what I'm asking. Can I get a different? I want a Kia Telluride. I want this. I just don't want that one because that one's obviously a lemon and I don't want your lemon. And you want to know the absolute kicker? You know what loaner car they gave me? You know what I'm sitting in right now? I am sitting in my Nissan Rogue. This was my exact car that I gave to them when I leased this new Kia Telluride. It still has Lucas's food crumbs in the back. And you know what? I had 2 different Rogues over 8 years and I never had one problem. If I didn't need something bigger with a second baby on the way, I would say just keep that car, give me the difference of the money back, and give me my car back. Can you believe I'm back in my car?
I will never understand the American obsession with full-size SUVs. As soon as you have 1 or 2 kids, you all of a sudden have to have an army tank to drive your family around in, when a compact or a mid-size SUV will do the exact same thing. Lemon Law. Call their customer service line and say you want to enact Lemon Law. I did it for my Kia Sportage because it died a bunch. I hope you get something safer. Toyota, Honda, Subaru, and Mazda are the only brand of cars people should be buying. Toyota till I die. If I had to buy a new car at this point, it would be a Toyota or a Honda, but they just don't make them like they used to. I hear those 2 brands are also having issues and they're kind of just relying on the fact that they've been reliable in the past. But let me know what you all think in the comments down below. I still think used cars pre-2015 are probably the best out there.
I've come to the conclusion that all of these vehicles are complete and utter garbage. And I'm not just talking about the Bronco either. So I've been seeing a lot recently, a lot about the Chevys, right? A lot about the Chevy lifter failures or whatever's going on with their engines. Question is, right? How long have these companies been building engines? How long have these companies been building vehicles? In most cases, it's close to 100 years, right? Tell me why all of these cars are failing, right? There are a couple reasons, but it's not acceptable. I think a couple of the reasons are, number one, they're making them more and more complicated because of EPA regulations, but also because it's what consumers want, right? The enthusiast doesn't really care about all the screens and tech and all the nonsense that's going on because we realize from a perspective that, hey, these cars are going to break. All of this stuff in 10 years is going to fail, and then buying those cars used is going to be pointless. But to the average consumer, it's, oh my God, I love all the tech. Let me buy it and take all of it and throw my car away after 5 years. All new cars are basically throwaway cars. Even some of the new Hondas, which are now rebadged Chevys, which is insane, and even some of the newer Toyotas. I mean, Toyota just did a mass recall on their 4-cylinder hybrid. Yeah, I mean, it's still Toyota, but Who would want that, right? EPA regulations, mandates, and all of that, and then consumers wanting more tech has created cars that break more. And on top of that, they make everything else more complicated with it, so no one can work on it, things will break, and they make more money at the end of the day. New cars suck. And that's the end conclusion. New vehicles are horrible. And not just Ford, not just Chevy, not just American cars, not just German cars are unreliable. At this point, even the Japanese manufacturers are starting to produce straight garbage. And that's why most of us who are smart, I've started to realize. I realized after this, kind of at the same time, I knew I had to throw this truck away after 5 years. But we realized, you know, it's better to go buy an early 2000s Lexus, rebuild the engine, or an early 2000s whatever, and rebuild the entire thing, spend $35,000 on it, and it's going to be better than any new car.
One of the top comments says, the new Bronco is so silly. Without the big wheels, it just looks like a Kia Soul. I can't unsee it now. It really does look like a Kia Soul, and no hate to the Kia Soul. I kind of like those unique looking cars that are boxy and different, but the Bronco you're paying much, much more money for than a Kia Soul. Planned obsolescence, we talked a little bit about that in some of my past videos. They create these cars so that you can't repair them anymore. If one little door handle breaks, you have to fix the entire door panel. These modern cars are just not meant to last or be repaired. They're meant to be thrown away and replaced after 5 to 10 years. Similar to phones, a new one comes out every year. They no longer make the software updates to the older phones. They just want you to upgrade and throw your old phone away. It's actually very sad and super wasteful. And of course, it's all for money. It fuels corporate greed. It puts more money into the shareholders' pockets, and it's just worse for us as consumers.
So it's raining here in South Carolina, and this is the new Wagoneer that we have. Now this is why you never buy a Wagoneer right here. Look at this huge water leak. Look at this. And we have a leak coming from the back too, you can't see here. This car is horribly made.
Again, I will never understand the obsession with these full-size SUVs. The Jeep Wagoneer starts at $60,000. Some other full-size SUVs are the Cadillac Escalade. It starts at $91,000. I am just dumbfounded that people will pay almost 6 figures for these full-size SUVs. They are terrible to maneuver anywhere you need to go. It really takes some skill to drive these things, and they get awful gas mileage. Buying a $90K Chrysler was your first mistake. I work on cars, avoid a sunroof at all costs. Don't matter the maker, they all leak eventually. I would cry, why is the quality of so many things going downhill? I would never buy any kind of Jeep. It's a Jeep. Jeep has pretty horrible reliability issues. If we look at this consumer report called Which Brands Make the Best Cars from December of 2025, this list ranks car manufacturers from best to worst based on the quality of their vehicles, and Jeep is dead last on this list, coming in at number 31. And last but not least, they are putting subscriptions in our vehicles now. So in order to use the hardware that you already paid for, you have to pay monthly for it.
It's the 5 subscriptions that the 2025 Toyota Camry has, because y'all want to know, and when I bought it exactly 1 year ago, I was shook too, and my free trials just expired. So number 1 is the Drive Connect, which as you can see now says subscribe. Every time I turn my car on, no matter what, it says subscribe now. So this is an AI service I can pay for. This is also if you want to use the built-in navigation. So unless you don't pay and you don't use CarPlay, you can't use anything. Also behind a paywall is the audio feature. Also, if you don't have CarPlay, you'll no longer be able to listen to music here. Thankfully, which I thought I was wrong, but the SOS button where you can call 911 if you wreck, it'll connect you to a dispatcher and send them to your location. That, I bought the car new, so I don't know what the deal is if you don't have a new car, is active for 10 years until my free trial expires. Same with the service features. So that's a feature in the app that will basically tell me whenever I need an oil change, I'll get a reminder. If there's any recalls, it notifies me. I think that's the majority of what it does. Now on to the different subscription tiers. So the different options. Now this is what I see when I open the app now. It's expired. So I can no longer start my car from inside my house. I can no longer preheat it. Literally is just now getting cold and just snowed for the first time. So I'm so stressed about that. And I learned from you guys that yes, you can remote start your car, but it doesn't reach from my house. And that's the only major con. And for me, I use CarPlay, so these are not deal breakers because I don't use these features. If the app feature was a 10-year free trial, I would have loved that too, because I only paid $42,000 in full. You know, not too much.
The comments say it all. In-app purchases for your car is crazy. Capitalism breeds innovation. This is the innovation. Imagine this message on the highway. Your subscription for brakes has ended. EU regulation going to have a field day with this one. Paying full price for a product, but have to pay extra to use it for its full potential. Microtransactions, but on a new level. I have heated seats, but I need to pay to use them. BMW got so much backlash, especially for its heated seat subscription. Customers were outraged. They felt that they had already paid for the hardware upon purchase of the car, which is exactly what they did. And now BMW is trying to double dip and profit once again by making them pay for that subscription. BMW responded by removing the subscription for heated seats. And this is what we need to do. We need to submit our feedback on these vehicles, on their subscription models, on their features that we don't like. We need to boycott these companies and vote with our dollar. We truly have so much power as the customer. If we stop as consumers purchasing these vehicles and buying these subscriptions, these companies will be forced to play fair. Not all hope is lost though. Some companies are finally listening to its customers and putting physical buttons and other features that we want back in the vehicles. This once again shows the power we have as consumers if we vote using our dollars.
Multiple major car makers are now throwing technology in reverse, hitting the brakes on touchscreens and bringing back physical buttons for things like music, air conditioning, and more.
So many models have touch screens now, and to go from like maps to your music or back to other functions, you're just touching this flat screen. But a lot of people, a growing number of American drivers, one study showing half, miss buttons, miss things that are more tactile. Now, a growing number of automakers vowing to bring back buttons. Most recently, Mercedes-Benz, who this month unveiled plans to include more physical controls in several of their upcoming models available starting next year. This after a years-long wave of luxury and mainstream car brands installing screens. Eventually, experts say novelty gave way to nostalgia.
We can look at the comments. Now get rid of the LED headlights. Touchscreens never belonged in moving vehicles. You can use physical buttons without taking your eyes off the road. The same is not true for touchscreens. Novelty gave way to nostalgia. No, it gave way to practicality. We kept buttons and dials for a reason, and that reason is people will always prefer tactile input to a screen. Yeah, this definitely isn't for nostalgia, it's for safety. The world is healing. That might be a little optimistic, but I think that is a step in the right direction. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please like, subscribe, and comment down below a dog emoji so I know you watched the whole thing. And if you don't want to wait for my next upload, you can go ahead and check out this video right here on the screen. But thank you guys again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!